Hello, welcome to today's gentle yoga practice. The focus of today's practice is building some heat and some warmth in ways that are fairly gentle still. So we'll be doing some things on the ground and some things standing. My first tip is if you have a hard floor like me, for the parts of practice today that are on the ground, you might put a blanket underneath you or underneath your mat. I'm definitely doing that, and I will take that blanket away once I start to transition to standing because I think that's safer. But for now, I put this blanket under here so that I don't have to touch the cold floor as much. And you might find something to sit on, and we'll get started. Go ahead and find yourself a comfortable seat. That could be on the floor, it could be on a chair, in a bed, wherever you can sit fairly comfortably. We won't be sitting still for too long, but do take a moment to connect in with your breath. Your eyes could be open or closed. Maybe bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. And here at first, rub your palms together. And then let your palms just hover right near one another, but not touching. See if you can feel the warmth, the energy that travels between them. Imagine that warmth between your hands as being the air that you're breathing in, the air that you're breathing out. And then gently place your palms together, press them into one another, and take a slightly longer inhale into your side ribs. Pause at the top of that inhale, and then make more space in your side ribs. Inhale a little more. And blow your exhale all the way out. One more time, big inhale. Pause, make more space, inhale a little more. Blow it out. Then close your mouth if you can. Breathe in and out through your nose. On your next exhale, bring your hands to your legs and start to slowly make circles with your torso. So just circle around, maybe a few times in one direction and a few times in the other direction. Think about mostly moving right where your pelvis and your thighs come together. So you're really hinging at your hips. But you could add your spine too. You could, as you go back, round your spine, and as you come forward, reach your chest forward and add a little cat-cow element to this as well. I'm just switching every 3 or 4 circles. And gently come back through center. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Bring your feet to the floor and your knees to center. And then take your hands, make little like fists with your hands. Make sure your thumbs are outside your fists. And then get loose wrists and just give yourself a little tap on the outsides of your legs. So you can start at your hips and work your way toward your outer knees and then down as far as you can reach. And back up. And then place your feet together, let your knees open, and you can keep your feet pretty far away from you if you like. And then take those same fists and do inner thighs, inner knees, and down your calves toward your arches. And then you can bring your hands behind you and do a few little bounces here. I don't know if you are from my era. This was like a PE classic, the butterfly. These went through a period of where they were not in fashion anymore. People thought it was dangerous to bounce your legs like this, but that's not really true. And I think it builds some nice warmth. So give ourselves some bouncing here. And release. You can stretch your legs forward, and I'm going to come off my prop here. Scooch it out of the way. So from here, what we'll do is we'll essentially be coming through center, and then we're going to go side to side. And so we'll sort of be building warmth with a very functional task. Now you could actually do this sitting like on the edge of a bed or even on the edge of a couch, where essentially you bring your feet to one side and you lay to one side. And so I'm just kind of supporting myself on my arm. You could even do this where you just come a little bit to the side and you do your best to bend your knees in, come back to center, and then go the other way. So I'm essentially leaning to one side, bending my knees and bringing my feet opposite. The lower down you go, like to your elbow, creates a little bit of a different challenge. And you could even come all the way down and back up. You can do this slower or faster. I'm just trying to make sure I'm breathing pretty smoothly. And you could absolutely do this very slowly, but I feel I want to build some heat. So I'm going a little faster here. Now, the next time you're down on your right side, say, I'll mirror you, go ahead and stay on your side. And so what we'll do from here is you'll go from your side to, with your knees bent like this, roll to your back, and then roll back to your side. So I'm gonna bring my arms in, my knees in, and then when I roll to my back, I'm gonna stretch my arms overhead. So I'm inhaling and exhale. And then go to your back, inhale. Go to your side, exhale. One more time to your back, inhale. And to your side, exhale. Then you're gonna go to your stomach. So now roll to your stomach, inhale. Come to your side, exhale. And you're trying to move yourself all in one if you can. So we're just getting, this is, I think of this as like functional core exercises. Just the ability to roll over. And we're trying to do it smoothly as we can. The next time you're on your belly, stay there. Come to your elbows, inhale, curl up to Sphinx pose. Exhale, let your head gently fall down. Inhale, curl up, Sphinx pose. Exhale, curl down. Do a few more just like this. If you want to add knee bends on the inhale and exhale with the knees straightened, you can do that too. And then from here, roll back to your side. So if you're lying on your right side, I'm on my left side, but I'm going to say right side. If you're lying down on your right side, what we'll do is you'll take your arms out in front of you and then take your top leg. And as you kick your top leg forward, reach your top arm. You can either reach it up and over, or you can reach it back overhead and over, more like a semicircle. Then bend your knee as you sweep your arm forward, kick your leg backward. So we're just going to do a few rounds of this. Sweep your top arm around, kick your leg across your body, and then kick your leg back, sweep your top arm forward. And then move here with your own breath. And the next time your arm is reaching back and your leg is reaching across, maybe stay there and think about where your chest and your armpit come together and see if from there you can reach through your arm more, stretch your leg a little more. Release that, come back to your side, and then up to sitting if you want, and then come down on the other side. So you can do that. You can obviously also just roll to your other side. But essentially here, we're going to bring our hands in, knees bent, and then roll to your back, arms overhead. And then trying as much to do all in one, knees bend, curl to your side. Inhale, roll to your back. Couple more like this. And then come to your side, then roll to your stomach. Roll to your side. So you might find that, and then to your stomach. So you might find that the action is a little bit different. The way that you use your core is different. I find it a little harder to go from my stomach to my side all in one. My arms are helping me a little bit, but I'm trying to not use my arms as much as I can. One more like this. And the next time you're on your stomach, stay there. Either go elbows down, or you can put your hands down forward and wide. So you're either rolling up to Sphinx with your elbows down, or you're rolling up to Cobra with your hands down and roll back down. So again, do several rolls here. Feel free as you lift up to also bend your knees if that feels nice to you. The next time you come down, roll to your side, bend your knees up again, just like we did. Then reach your arms out in front of you. And again, take this top arm, and as you sweep it back, kick your top leg forward. So you're twisting. Then bring your arm back around, bend your knee, and kick your top leg back. Bend your knee in, kick your top leg forward, sweep your arm opposite direction. And do a few rounds just like that. The next time your arm is around back and you've kicked your leg forward, see if you can keep that position. Stretch your leg and your arm away from one another. And I like to think about making more space where my chest and my armpit come together. And release, come back to your side. Now you could press yourself up, or you could roll to your back. Bring your knees in toward your chest, and then lift your head and chest and do some rolls along your spine. Eventually, no matter what you've chosen, hopefully you come back up to center. All right, from here, let's go ahead and come to hands and knees. And then lift your knees up off the ground and walk your hands back to your feet. Pause here, bring your hands to your hips and come to standing, or come to standing in whatever way you can. Now, I recommend if you're using a mat and you have a blanket under it like I did, to take your blanket away if you have hard floor underneath you. Probably doesn't matter as much if you have carpet, but my hard floors, I can guarantee you, will be not great. They'll be a little slippery with a blanket underneath. So you could also take socks off, especially if you notice that they're slippery, right? You don't want to be slipping around. I'm leaving my socks on because I'm still chilly and they don't slip. So from here, spread your toes, like place your feet down. And I'm doing about hip distance apart. And then I'm gonna push down through the balls of my feet and lift my toes up and spread them wide. And then place your toes back down. So as you inhale, lift your heels, lift your arms. I'm going out to the side and up. And then as I exhale, I'm lowering back down. So here at first, now as I lower down, I'm gonna lift my toes up and then put them back down, or lift the whole ball of my foot up with straight knees. Woo, and then I wanna make sure that I'm not gonna fall backwards. So if you feel uncertain about your balance, you may want to be close to a wall so that if you lift your balls of feet up and you start to topple backwards, you have a wall back there to catch you, right? So, and then lower your heels, lift the balls of your feet. Okay, inhale up, exhale down, toes up. And do a few rounds like that. When I'm cold, personally, my balance is always a little funky. Notice if your knees want to bend, and for this one, squeeze your muscles around your kneecaps and keep them straight. Let's do one more like this. And then we're going to go for a different variation. This time as you inhale, lift your heels, send your knees forward and your arms forward, and then back up. So you can go inhale, exhale. Now if this bothers your knees, you could keep doing straight knee variation, or I would encourage you to keep your heels down and do little knee bends, or lift your heels and stay more vertical so your knee bends aren't as big. It's actually really great for your knees to start practicing sending them forward, bringing your knees past your ankles. So any variation of this that you can do, heels up, heels down, little bend, big bend, is good. Do a few more like this. When I bring my arms back, I squeeze my shoulder blades back too. Bonus. Bonus muscle activation for increased warmth. One more. And then keep your heels down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Your knees could be bent, they can stay straight. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold. Two more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Now let your arms lower down and take a wide stance. You can heel toe your feet out. You can just step wide like I did. And, a wide stance is relative, okay? So take as wide a stance as you can and still feel sturdy, like you can push your feet down into the ground. Inhale, stretch your arms wide. Here's another one where I'm channeling my elementary school gym class here. Inhale, and then as you exhale, take your left hand toward your right knee, calf, foot. Inhale, back up through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, twist. To keep going with your own breath here. even yourself out. Inhale. And then exhale, arms down. Spin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right heel, I'll mirror you. Heel in halfway, toes out the rest of the way. So I turn my heel in, so now my foot's at an angle, and then I turn my toes out, and that's how I get into this position. So then I'm going to go slide down like triangle pose. I'm going to slide back up, turn my right foot, and then go left heel in halfway, toes out, slide down. So you can work on this slide down, slide up. Turn your heel out halfway, toes forward, right heel in, toes out, slide down. And so you're going to coordinate that foot ankle action. Now, heel back halfway, toes forward the rest of the way. Left heel in halfway, toes out. And if you're like, I don't want to think about that, Tiffany, I'm just going to turn my feet however I want to, then do that. I do think it's nice for feet and ankles, and also for our brains to have to do some of these little coordinated tasks. So we're just going to go side to side, sliding up and down, and then doing our little foot turns. See where we end up on our mats. Might be somewhere weird. It's definitely making my socks do all sorts of strange things. So that's one of the reasons we usually don't wear socks in yoga. But if you joined this class because you're cold, you, like me, might be choosing to let your socks be weird so that you can be warm. Okay, last one. Even yourself out here. And then heel toe or step your feet together, or, as close together as you feel comfortable. Inhale and bring your hands behind your head. Push down through your heels from your thighs. Push your head back into your hands. Inhale here. Exhale, send your hips over to the right. Lean yourself to the left. So you could do a little lean, come back up through center and go the other way. You could bring your bottom hand to your hip and give yourself a little more support. We're just going to do a few side to side. So you could give yourself support with your bottom hand, or you can keep both hands behind your head, which might be more warming because it takes a little more muscle activation, but you certainly want to feel confident and you can breathe, and you want to, I personally want to get as much range of motion as I can. So if I'm limited in my movement because I've got my hands behind my head, then I would probably choose to support myself with my hands. Let's do one more to each side. Back up through center. Release your hands. Good. Take your feet a little wider, maybe shoulder distance apart. And now, if you find that balance is really challenging, I recommend maybe standing in a corner or somewhere where you feel like, ooh, if I leaned to one side or the other or backwards, I could catch my balance a little bit here. But what we're going to go for is this altering of bringing one foot up and trying to tap it with the opposite hand. So I'm going to go wide arms, and I'm going to try to keep my torso as vertical as I can and lift my leg up high enough to just reach down and tap. So I'm trying not to lean myself forward. But you could, it's not impossible. So you could be very slow, you could be a little more quick. Then I'm going to switch this up. Now I'm going to take my foot behind me and try and tap the opposite hand. On one side, I really have to work harder than the other because one of my knees doesn't bend as easily as the other one. but I'm still trying to stay as vertical in my torso as I can so that my hamstrings have to work. This is very aerobics inspired. If you ever took like a step aerobics class or something. Okay, front again. If you do like more of a bounce and you do it fast, like you're doing it to music, then it really would be very step aerobics inspired. And then feet behind you. And then release. Let your arms go and windmill. Use your hips to initiate these circles. Let your arms fly around. Actually, I call these more like helicopters, kind of helicoptering your arms around. And then let yourself come back to center. Let your arms sort of make their way to neutral. And then find a squat. That might mean that you're right here. This might be your squat. Halfway down. Hips go low. Your heels could be down or up. And if you're up higher, just hold that squat for a couple of breaths. Squats are warming, I think. And then make your way down to the ground. So if you're sitting pretty low and you can just sit down, that's fine. However else you need to get down. Make your way onto the ground and into a seated pose. So I'm gonna bring my bolster back and sit on it. And once you find your seat, we're gonna do a little breathing technique called Kapalabhati. And in yoga, Kapalabhati is, it's called skull shining breath. It's essentially meant to help kind of clear the sinuses and be energizing. And the way that you do it is you use a quick exhale, really forcing the air out quickly using your abdominal muscles, like an abdominal thrust is what we think of. So I'm taking my abdomen and I'm going, that's the exhale. Then I relax my abdomen, and the way that the pressure changes when I relax my abdomen and I essentially relax my diaphragm naturally pulls air in. So I'm never trying to inhale when I do Kapalabhati. I'm always exhaling, and then I let the exhale go and an inhale happens, sort of, but I'm not drawing air in. And this is really important because if you can do these abdominal thrusts and then relax them, you can do quite a few of these Kapalabhati breaths without feeling lightheaded. Whereas if you're going and like pulling air in and pushing it out, that's actually a different kind of breathing technique, which is very valuable, but that's not Kapalabhati. And that one can make you feel more lightheaded. Now, you may feel a little lightheaded on this one too. So I'm going to show you how we'll start slowly with the breaths. If you're really well versed in Kapalabhati, feel free to go ahead and go with it. But at first, if you can think of taking an inhale, and then I exhale about halfway, and then I start. You can even put your hand on your belly and like help yourself by imagining that you're pushing up and in. And then you can rest, especially if you feel lightheaded at all, or eventually your muscles might get a little tired and you won't get as much as much oomph. You can rest. You can keep going at that pace, or you can make it a little bit faster. Inhale part way, exhale halfway, and then go for it. can rest or you can keep going. And I'll show you again a little faster. So you can do these at any pace where you feel like you really get a good sense of the forced exhale and then just a relaxation that allows air to come in. And it's just a little inhale, but you don't need a whole lot really. So we'll give it a try. Do work at your own pace and take breaks as you need to so that you don't feel lightheaded, but give it a go. Kapalabhati breath. Breathe out part way and then go for it, any pace. Normal breath in, normal breath out. Just take a few nice calm breaths in and out. From here, you can move your bolster and make your way onto your back. And we'll just take a little sitting break for a moment. Stretch your arms out, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. So we did some little figure 4 preparations when we did the butterfly bounces and when we did those standing, kind of more active, dynamic bounces. So notice how your figure 4 feels. You could leave it right here. You could keep figure 4 and drop your legs over to the left and making a twist. Or you might do that for a couple of breaths and then bring your legs back to center and hug them in for figure 4. And I like to notice, it's not only slow, super deep, what we think of as like deep stretches that help give us more ease and range of motion. In fact, a lot of times, some active dynamic movement can not only maybe help us feel warmer, but might create space in our joints and in our tissues in different ways. So just notice how this feels for you. Then release and switch sides. Crossing your left ankle over your right thigh, you might just stay right here. You might let your legs fall over to the right, keeping that figure 4 position, but going into a twist. See if you can maintain a gentle breath. And then you can stay there or bring your legs to center and draw them in for, I either call this figure 4 or Sukirandrasana. Eye of the needle pose, because I'm threading my left arm through the little eye of the needle that my legs make. Sukirandrasana in Sanskrit. And release. Stretch your legs out straight, bring your arms overhead, and if you want, you can do some leg bouncing here. I'm doing heel bouncing too. I'm kind of like, I wouldn't do heel bouncing if your heels are sensitive on hard floor though. Okay, and then bend your knees and you can let your feet go wide and your knees come in, your hands come to your belly. So this is constructive rest. Now, our asana practice and our physical practice, our moving in yoga tradition is really intended to help sort of move energy through us, create like a more more clarity, more like freedom of energy movement, but also to make it easier to sit and find stillness. That's really its intention. And so here at the end of our practice, we're going to find a little stillness, maybe not too long because it might be chilly. But you could, if you had a blanket underneath your mat before, you could cover yourself with that blanket here, and you could be in more of a Shavasana shape, or you might roll to one side and come back to sitting and do seated meditation, if that would feel a little better to you for whatever reason. I know for me, especially when I feel cold, sometimes just sitting up feels nice and I can blanket myself. But find some stillness. And just like you really focused on your abdomen and intentionally doing those abdominal thrusts when we did Kapalabhati breathing, now can you relax your abdomen? Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And picture, if you will, warmth from the inside out. Maybe you picture light, like a yellow or an orange light, right at your very center. A light that's both a warm color but also warm in temperature. And picture it slowly expanding through the core of you, through the center of you, and then out your extremities, all the way through your arms to your hands and your fingertips, down your legs, calves, into your feet, into your toes. Up through your neck, into your head, around your ears, around your nose. And then picture that warm light even coming out through your skin and enveloping you. And see if you can leave the light where it is. Leave that warmth within you and around you. Even as you draw your attention back first to your breath and to the space around you. Maybe you open your eyes and blink and notice where you are. See if you can maintain that sense of warmth. And we'll close practice with an invitation to bring your hands to your heart and rub your hands together once again. See See if your hands can get a little warmer this time than they did the first time. And then take your palms and put them right over your eyes. Breathe in that warmth, let it soak in through your skin as you breathe in and out. And bring your hands to your heart. Breathe in and out. And bring your palms to touch. Breathe in and out. Take care. Stay warm. Thank you.